Balochistan's festering wounds. This opinion examines how decades-old policies and militant violence have deepened instability in Balochistan and KP. The latest wave of militant violence gripping the country may have shaken the corridors of power, but so far there have been few signs of any course correction. Wave is a noun meaning a surge or sudden increase. Gripping is a verb meaning holding attention forcefully. Corridors of power is a metaphor referring to centers of political authority. Course correction is a phrase meaning change in direction or a policy. This opening sentence serves as the thesis statement by asserting that recent militant violence has disturbed established power structures, yet no effective policy response has followed. There is not even an attempt to understand what has gone wrong and what needs to be done. This sentence means that the authorities are neglecting to analyze and address the underlying problems. The latest attacks in KP and Balochistan are a grim reminder of the existentialist threat to the country, which has re-emerged with greater ferocity than before. KP refers to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, a province in Pakistan. Grim reminder is an idiomatic expression meaning a harsh warning. Existentialist threat is a complex phrase indicating a fundamental danger to existence. Ferocity is a noun meaning extreme intensity or savagery. This sentence means that recent militant attacks in two regions starkly illustrate a renewed, intensified danger to Pakistan's very survival. While the nature of the security problems in the two provinces is different, the combined effect has added to the complexity of the terrorist threat. This sentence means that despite distinct regional issues, their cumulative impact makes the overall security situation more complicated. External factors and internal instability have together compounded the challenges that the state confronts. Compounded is a verb meaning made more severe or complex by addition. This sentence means that both foreign influences and domestic disorder have worsened Pakistan's challenges. It's an extremely alarming situation, which requires strategic thinking to tackle. This sentence means that the current crisis is so serious that it demands careful, forward-looking planning. The most important lesson lies in repression and the denial of people's rights. Repression is a noun meaning the act of subduing or preventing free expression. This sentence means that systematic suppression and rights violations are key factors fueling the crisis. What's happening in Balochistan is largely the result of our flawed policy over the decades. Flawed policy is a phrase meaning erroneous or misguided government actions. This sentence means that long-standing governmental errors have primarily caused the current turmoil in Balochistan. Kinetic responses to a mainly political problem has pushed many towards militancy. Kinetic responses is a jargon term meaning use of physical force or military action. This sentence means that responding to political grievances with force has driven people to embrace militancy. An administration, which is the product of political engineering and is propped up by the security establishment, is on the verge of collapse. Political engineering is a jargon term meaning deliberate manipulation of political structures. Propped up is a phrasal verb meaning supported artificially. This sentence means that a government created through manipulative practices and sustained by military backing is nearing failure. Many see it as an almost civil war-like situation in the province, with the insurgents dominating the narrative. This sentence means that observers perceive the situation as resembling an internal armed conflict, where militants control public discourse. A low-intensity conflict that had gripped the province for more than 2 decades is fast turning into a full-blown insurgency, with the local population's rising alienation from the state. Low-intensity conflict refers to prolonged sporadic violence with relatively low casualty rates. Insurgency is a term meaning a violent uprising against authority. Alienation is a noun meaning estrangement or isolation. This sentence means that a long-standing, relatively mild conflict is escalating into major violence as people grow increasingly estranged from the government. Separatist groups are conducting attacks as the writ of the provincial administration diminishes. Writ is a noun meaning the authority or control exercised by a government. This sentence means that as the provincial government's authority weakens, separatist militants launch more attacks. Days after the bloody train hijacking episode, A blast near a bus carrying security personnel left a number of soldiers killed and wounded. Bloody train hijacking refers to a violent seizure of a train that resulted in bloodshed. This sentence means that soon after a violent train hijacking, another attack targeted security forces, causing casualties. The latest spike in attacks, mostly targeting the security forces, shows the growing capacity of the separatist forces to launch high-profile attacks. Spike is a noun meaning a sudden increase. High-profile is an adjective meaning attracting a lot of attention. This sentence means that the recent surge in violence targeting security personnel demonstrates that separatist militants are becoming more formidable and visible. The attacks are becoming increasingly brazen and widespread. Brazen is an adjective meaning bold and unashamed. This sentence means that the militants are acting more openly and aggressively across a larger area. In the first month of the new year, dozens of heavily armed militants reportedly stormed a levy station in Kuzdar district and set up checkpoints around town. Levy station refers to a military outpost of the paramilitary force. This sentence means that at the beginning of the year, militants attacked a security facility in Kuzdar, establishing control measures in the area. Although the raid lasted for only a few hours, the incident marked a shift from the hit-and-run strategy of the militants to actually taking control. Hit-and-run strategy is a phrase meaning quick, surprise attacks with immediate withdrawal. This sentence means that the militants' tactics are evolving from fleeting attacks to attempts at seizing territory. Roadblocks have become more frequent. This sentence means that the establishment of militant checkpoints is now a common occurrence. Last month, 18 soldiers were killed in an overnight insurgent attack in Kalat district, marking one of the deadliest days for security forces. This sentence means that a recent attack in Kalat resulted in significant soldier casualties, highlighting the severity of the conflict. The year 2024 witnessed the highest number of terrorist attacks in Pakistan in a decade. This sentence means that 2024 recorded a peak in terrorist incidents not seen for 10 years. Most of them were targeted, but militants reportedly also clashed with security forces and blocked highways connecting the province with other parts of the country. Targeted means specifically aimed at certain groups or individuals. This sentence means that while many attacks were deliberate, some also involved confrontations with security forces and disruptions to transportation. Recent unconfirmed footage showed gunmen roaming the streets of Turbat, the second largest city of the province. This sentence means that video evidence, though not officially verified, depicts armed militants operating openly in Turbat. Government officials were also targeted. The sentence means that even state representatives have come under attack. There was complete mayhem in the troubled districts. Mayhem is a noun meaning chaotic disorder or violence. This sentence means that the affected areas descended into utter chaos. Violence by Baloch separatist factions, primarily the Baloch Liberation Army, BLA, has killed some 225 people in the past year. This sentence means that militant violence by separatist groups, especially the BLA, resulted in approximately 225 deaths over the last year. Most of the attacks have taken place in a region that has long been the center of political discontent. This sentence means that the areas with the highest violence are those with persistent political grievances. Each terrorist attack led to the military launching a renewed kinetic operation. This sentence means that every attack prompted a fresh round of forceful military responses. The areas worst affected include the coastal belt and the region bordering Iran. This sentence means that the most heavily impacted regions are along the coast and near the Iranian border. It is also the region where China is helping with the development of the key seaport of Gwadar. This sentence means that the same area is strategically important for Chinese investments, such as the Gwadar seaport. The recent surge in attacks on Chinese nationals working on various CPEC projects in Balochistan has been most worrisome. CPEC stands for the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This sentence means that increased militant attacks on Chinese workers involved in CPEC have raised serious concerns. Meanwhile, ordinary Pakistani citizens, mainly from Punjab, are also being targeted. This sentence means that not only foreign nationals but also local civilians are falling victim to the violence. In some instances, passengers have been offloaded from buses on the main highway and shot in cold blood. Offloaded is a verb meaning forcibly removed. Shot in cold blood is an idiomatic expression meaning killed without emotion or mercy. Ryan, this sentence means that there have been brutal incidents where bus passengers were violently killed. Such incidents have given a horrific turn to the separatist militancy. This sentence means that these violent acts have made the militant movement even more terrifying. Balochistan has been struggling with poor security for decades. This sentence means that the province has long suffered from inadequate security measures. The region is home to several armed groups, including the BLA, which wants Balochistan to secede. This sentence means that multiple militant groups, notably the BLA, operate in Balochistan with the aim of separatism. The militant group, which was formed in the 1970s, originally comprised mainly Mari tribesmen loyal to Nawab Kahir Bakhshmari. Mari tribesmen refers to members of a prominent Baloch tribe. This sentence means that the BLA was initially composed largely of tribal members loyal to a traditional leader. But later its composition changed. This sentence means that over time, the makeup of the BLA evolved. Today, the BLA boasts many members from the educated middle class. This sentence means that the group now includes a significant number of educated urban individuals. Growing political and economic discontent has united the educated Baloch and the tribesmen. This sentence means that widespread dissatisfaction has brought together different segments of Baloch society. The Baloch have long accused the central government of discrimination. This sentence means that the Baloch claim they are treated unfairly by the national government. Many of them feel they won't get their rights through democratic and legal means. This sentence means that a sense of hopelessness drives the Baloch to reject legal avenues for justice. Political engineering through manipulated elections has reinforced such misgivings. Political engineering refers to deliberate manipulation of political processes. This sentence means that rigged elections have deepened the Baloch's distrust in democratic institutions. Even Baloch nationalist parties, which believe in the struggle for their political and economic rights within the ambit of the Federation, have now been sidelined. This sentence means that even moderate nationalist groups have been marginalized in the political process. Unsurprisingly, there has been a huge escalation in militant violence in the province after the 2024 elections, which were massively rigged. Massively rigged is an idiomatic expression meaning thoroughly manipulated. This sentence means that fraudulent elections in 2024 have coincided with a significant increase in violent militancy. Non-representative elements cannot provide political stability. This sentence means that political forces lacking genuine representation fail to secure lasting stability. The province has virtually been ruled by the security establishment, widening the distrust between the people and the state. This sentence means that military control in Balochistan has deepened the gap between citizens and the government. The denial of democratic rights, state oppression, and poverty have pushed many, particularly the educated youth, towards militancy. This sentence means that repressive policies and economic hardship are driving especially educated young people to take up arms. The separatist groups, which allegedly also receive support from other countries, are now better organized and armed with sophisticated weaponry, which has enabled them to carry out the kind of attacks we have witnessed recently. Allegedly means reportedly, without definitive proof. Sophisticated weaponry refers to advanced military equipment. This sentence means that external support and improved armaments have increased the operational capacity of separatist militants. There is certainly strong evidence of the separatist groups having links with countries hostile to Pakistan, but it is internal discontent which is being exploited by external forces. This sentence means that while militant groups may have foreign connections, it is domestic dissatisfaction that fuels their actions. We need to put our own house in order to thwart any foreign interference. Put our own house in order is an idiomatic expression meaning to resolve internal problems first. This sentence means that Pakistan must address its internal issues to prevent external meddling from gaining traction. There can be no two views about the state's right to use force to fight the separatist insurgency. This sentence means that there is unanimous support for the government's right to employ military action against insurgents. But there is also a need to address the causes of political and economic discontent, which are feeding into the rising insurgency in the province. This sentence means that military measures must be complemented by efforts to resolve underlying grievances. The people of Balochistan need a healing touch. Healing touch is a metaphor meaning compassionate and restorative intervention. This sentence means that the local population requires both security and developmental support to recover. They don't need to be subjected to force aimed at crushing dissent. This sentence means that using harsh repression to silence opposition will only worsen the situation. The problem of Balochistan is a chronic one and a direct consequence of a repressive system. Chronic means long-lasting and persistent. This sentence means that the issues in Balochistan are deeply rooted and result from sustained state repression. The writer is a former editor of DAWN, abbas.nasir@gmail.com, published in DAWN, March 16, 2025.